Just your overall takeaways and kind of thoughts of week one for the defense.
Week one, I think we learned some things about our guys. Hopefully we got some of the kinks out. It's always a little bit of game one stuff that you'd say. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. As always, there's a lot of things to improve, and hopefully those guys took it in. And with this week of practice, there's a little bit more urgency in the things that they saw that they messed up. So that's good. You can learn a bunch of stuff from the first game, just about people and kind of how we play. And now they kind of know the system, how we work things on the sideline for real. And hopefully they feel more comfortable week two.
Was there a position group in particular that stood out to you?
No, I think that everybody did. It was nice to see AJ get a pick on the second play of the game. That's always a good way to start, and to score on defense is always a fun thing. So I think that when JA does stuff like that, it's a good deal. So I think that those guys play pretty well. But there's bright spots everywhere. There's some marks that we got to get better everywhere as well.
Daniel Ring got on the field for the first time pretty early in the game. How did he play for you?
He played okay. I think he had to knock a little bit of the rust off early. He missed a couple tackles there. You can see him coming out of coverage, but I think he'll get better as we keep going. And the plan is to keep playing a lot of guys, throughout the game. Not just play the two guys who are starting. So we see him as a starter also, and hopefully he improves this week too.
What are your expectations of linebackers within your scheme?
Just to. They got to be able to do a good job to communicate, talk to the safeties, get in the right alignment. And then as we're running just whatever plays they get a chance to make, they got to hopefully make those plays. We'd like them to be very efficient tacklers, and I think the two starters did a very good job with that. Like I said, Daniel had a couple plays that he should have made that he missed, but, we'll get those things cleaned up hopefully soon.
How please were you on?
Go ahead.
What are the circumstances that would allow you to play a 4-3 set versus 4-2-5?
With all the spread stuff, there's not really much opportunity to take a 4-3. I mean, we consider our nickel back. He's really like our linebacker right now. So I don't know when we would get into that, maybe a goal line situation or someone came out more like we do, where the true fullback and those kind of things we might get into. But, really we're 4-3. It's just that, it's most time 5 DBs play.
How pleased were you with the third down defense, and how can that even become better?
There were some things we did well. It's kind of like the whole game. There's some things that we did well. We got pressure on the quarterback, but we didn't get any sacks. When they ran the ball, we played that pretty efficiently. But there's things that you say, well, that play wasn't run exactly right. Those things weren't. Again, we were good enough to make up for our mistakes in those situations. And you hope that, man, if you can get off the field at that rate all year, geez, that'd be crazy. You can't expect that every week, but that's what you'd like to be able to do. You'd like to be able to get off the field and just feed the ball to the offense, because they do a great job holding on to it.
Bowling Green runs the ball pretty well.
Yes.
What kind of test will that present for you guys?
I think it's a different, it's good because it's a different game plan, to go back and forth and adjust these guys a little bit. Hopefully they'll continue to learn, hey, it's week to week. We tweak little things in the game plan every week, and we'll see how it goes. They have two really good backs. I think that, our front four really has to do an excellent job stopping the run, and it's a different scheme. It's a different scheme. So as you look at it, hey, 1 week you're going to play the spread where it's all zone and move around, and the next week they're going to come run at your head. And it's going to be good practice for us just to say, okay, we got to see how we run laterally and see how we run and how we can stop the ball there. And now let's see if we can do it when people just run the ball right at you.
Coach Clem said Tuesday that he thinks they run a lot of similar concepts and schemes to K-State's offense. Do you think that at all helps you guys?
Yeah. Just through fall camp, I think the toughness factor helps us a bunch. I think that their O-line's good. You watch some Boston College tape too. Those guys pound it all the time. So it's a good challenge for us. At least the positive thing for us, looking at our offense, was at least we've seen a little bit more big people in the game before, where they condense sets or they want to, get into 2 tight end sets and those kind of things. And we've seen that, which is helpful for us. It's not like we're learning it from day one, where some teams, if all they do is see 10 personnel and spread all day, it's hard to make that transition.
How would you describe the atmosphere Saturday?
I thought it was great. The fans were great. They were loud when they needed to be. Coming out of the locker room, the guys were pretty jacked. It was good to see. It's a really good atmosphere. It's up there with a lot of them. The student section there waving at, and had a chance to see all that stuff. So it was pretty neat.
What impressed you most week one, and what did you think you need to improve most?
I was impressed by seeing the guys run to the ball, because sometimes that's a thing that takes off right away, just how hard guys play. You know, you try to train them in practice, and then you get into a game and you get guys watching, you know, a little bit on the field and going, oh yeah, I was supposed to run, and you get some of that. We didn't have a lot of that, so that was very impressive. And like I was talking about, we made some mistakes there, you know, and there's mistakes with the scheme, but sometimes just through pure effort, you know, you won't, you know, a typical fan won't notice that, oh, we misfit that, you know, but some dude from the backside was running so fast he made up for it, and you'd say, oh, that's a good play, you know. So that was really good. And the other side of things, you would say, you know, we had a couple busts in there that you'd say, you know, as it came through, there was a couple missed tackles that you'd like to clean up. I mean, I think those are always things for week one that you always worry about. You know, it's the first time you really live tackle for a while, and you know, we missed some of those, and then, you know, there's a couple busts in there that allowed some big plays to pop. So you want to see get rid of those things too.
How would you assess the defensive line's pressure on the quarterback, you know, given the fact that they had no sacks? Do you still feel like they did a decent job?
I mean, the quarterback got hit, you know, and sometimes, you know, we always look at it like, you know, hurries, and when you're playing a good quarterback, you'd say, okay, he's going to get rid of the ball, which he did. You know, he got hit a few times, and the hurries will turn into sacks. You know, the ones that you worry about is if you're not getting any hurries. You know, he's not feeling pressure. If he doesn't feel pressure, you know, that's a different situation. That's a hard thing to play with, you know, but I think that he felt some pressure and got hit a few times, and you hope that we continue to get better there too.
How crucial is that this week now, given the fact that their quarterback's coming in after having a lot of time to throw back there?
Yeah, you know, those are unknown questions. I think that, you know, when they do throw the ball, you'd like to get after. They're a little bit different though. They're because they're not spread, they'll go some max pro stuff, and so they can, you know, they got the ability to double three guys on the line, and you get one-on-one. You know, so that one guy who's got the one-on-one needs to do a good job getting there, or we got to figure out a different way. You know, add in pressure guys in man or blitz or whatever the case is, and we got to try to let that guy feel some pressure, and hopefully he will. You know, it'll be a good test. You know, it's a different deal. You don't know, you know, you don't know a lot about these people like we didn't know a lot about them last week. So you get a chance to get out there and say, okay, we don't know a bunch about these guys. We don't know how good they are, how they compare. Let's go see how it works out.
What do you assess to be Bowling Green's biggest strength?
You know, their run game, definitely. I mean, they have three different backs in there that can run the ball. You know, their scheme is designed to run the ball. It sets up all their play actions, you know, off of, you know, when they do go max pro, their quarterback generally feels pretty easy because he's back there and they're max pro and they're taking shots at people. And you got to live through those shots. And but really the big thing always, like you say, it always goes back to, can you stop the run? Can you knock it down? Can you get them off schedule? And then you earn your rushes that way. And if we get a bunch of those, well, we get a chance to rush a whole bunch. If we don't, then we won't, and it'll be a harder game for us if they're 3rd and 3.
Your unit was only on the field 41 total snaps and less than 20 total minutes of game time. Is that the fewest play calls you've ever had to send into a game?
We've been in a couple of those, but those are few and far between. It's great when you do that. You know, we always say the best defense you can play is when you're drinking Gatorade. You know, you're just hanging out. So, I mean, you can't get scored on that way, and you're not giving up yards. So it's great. You know, if the offense can do that every week, we'd sure appreciate it.
How pleasing was it to see Daquan Patton lead the unit in tackles?
You know, he played really well. You know, and you know, for me, it's not so much about the stats of the tackling and those kind of things. It's about the fact that here's a young man that came in. He's a senior. And that dude, I mean, if you just watch his play, he was running to the ball. And that was the most special thing that I saw. It wasn't, he did make tackles and he played really well. You know, I won't take anything away from there. But for me, it was more about, man, that guy's giving great effort and he's setting a bar for the rest of the defense. If you want to see a guy run to the ball, watch that guy. I mean, he was on it the whole day. And that was more exciting to me to see as a senior saying, listen, I'm gonna take this to the next level. And guys were also running the ball, but he was like at a different speed. And I hope that you know, gets contagious and all guys see that and start to try to mimic that.